Scriptcat here. It is a beautiful Saturday afternoon. I'm in the workshop working because sometimes we don't get weekends under a deadline. Quickly want to talk today about the creative process. Read an interesting article which made me start thinking about my own creative process. Now, I like to write every day when I'm on a project. And when I lose days or I'm interrupted, it really throws me off. And it doesn't matter if I start my day at noon or at 10 a.m. or at 3 p.m., as long as the process continues. And many times you'll learn that you'll sit down and maybe it just doesn't happen. You know, I read something where Raymond Chandler said he would sit down every day at the same time at his desk and be with it, be with the material. If he had pages or he didn't, it didn't matter, because it was that discipline, you know, which I've learned from 28 screenplays that I've completed, 7 pilots and 1 web series, is that you must have discipline in your creative process, because you need to get the pages done. And especially when you start working on assignment, when you start working on assignment, you have to get those pages done under a deadline. And that was I don't say the most difficult thing, but a very different experience for me once I started getting paid to write, that I had to be creative under a deadline, which can create anxiety, and sometimes you can, focus on page count more than what you are creating. So sometimes you sit down and you're with the material and you might get 1 page, but it's an excellent page. And then the next day you might have 5 pages. But as long as you start hitting your page count, 5 pages a day, for me, that's a good run. I could get a script done. Ciao, Mario! I can get a script done. Fastest screenplay that I've ever written was 20 days under assignment, because I had a solid treatment going in. So it was just a matter of, sitting down and being with it. But what was it? Two assignments ago, I remember I started the process and my days would just get away from me, be struggling to get the day going. Even though I would wake up early and start the process, something would get always, and then I looked, it was like 3 o'clock. So I started writing at 3 o'clock until midnight. The next day, the same thing would happen. And I was having anxiety and stress about not being able to start at 10 in the morning. Well, finally, I realized that I needed to get the stress out of my life by just accepting the fact that maybe on that script, I did start at 3 in the afternoon. That was my writing process, 3 till midnight. As long as I got the pages done for my page count, I was fine. So the minute that I let go of that hanging on to, I must start at 10:30, each script I've learned over the many years that I've written is a different journey. It's a different process. After 28 screenplays, I'm still humbled that each time when I go up to the plate, there's always something new, obviously, to learn, and surprises that come from the craft and also the film business as well. So in your creative process, like I say, writers who've written 1 screenplay, I don't think it's enough time to even find out, your process. Then when you get into the master level of writing screenplays for 20 years, you know your process, and you know when the forces of procrastination and interruption are trying to throw you off. I've been running for 5 years. I've been jogging, and that's completely taught me, again, discipline. Get that extra mile, get that extra kilometer. But the discipline that, imagine if you were running a marathon and it was under time, and suddenly you had an obstacle, and it made you stop. And it's like, now I got to start over again. It's the same way with your creativity and your writing schedule. You get up to speed, and you're in the zone, and you're doing 5 pages a day. But then something will happen, and maybe you'll only get 1 page that next day. But if you're struggling with it, sit and be with the material. Trust me, every time it's worked for me. If I just sit in front of the material, and it's almost daydreaming, but you're daydreaming with the characters and the scenes. And when I actually start to see the scene in my mind's eye, and I really see it, I know that what I'm putting on the page is not just crap or filler, or as people say, a vomit draft, which, by the way, you're never given that luxury when you do assignments, there is no vomit draft. You're paid, and the draft that you turn in had better be a solid 7 out of 10, because you're going to hold up the development process, and then if that happens, you'll be out. So learn your strengths and your weaknesses as a writer. This is going to help your creative process and your overall structure, the overall structure of your writing time, which is precious, because without writing time, we're lost as writers, right? You know, in our workshop, creating away, our laboratory, if we're continually interrupted, going to miss a lot of things, and a lot of splendid ideas get, because your focus is on something else, when it should be you're living and breathing the project that you're working on, and you're channeling it. I feel like when I sit down, it's almost I'm channeling, because the ideas are in the ether, and suddenly when it locks in and I'm channeling, I'm almost following the characters. I'm typing, I'm like, okay. And I feel bad when I end. I got to go to sleep. And the characters in the story are saying, hey, wait. Do we jump off the cliff, or what do we do? Do we get in the car? I said, you have to wait till tomorrow morning. And, as I think as Hemingway said, always leave something to write, something to come back on the next day. And Hemingway also said, regardless of what happens the day or night before, get up the next day and bite on the nail. It means get back to work. My movie premiered last Sunday. Hoopala, blah, 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 fantastic, oh, very great. And the very next morning, I was up working. Back to the job, back to the grind. Because screenwriting is a job. It's a profession, but it's a job as well. And you have to be on to your next project when one's screening, and on to the next job when one just finishes. I mean, that's how you build a career. Follow me on Twitter at Scriptcat. You're on Periscope. Love to see you on Periscope. Wish I had more comments and interaction here, but sometimes people just like to watch. Or they don't care what I'm saying, which that could be the case as well. Go to my blog, My Blank Page. 180 articles about screenwriting. Go to my website, 5o'clockblue.net, one word. There'll be information about my screenplay consulting services. In between gigs, I consult on screenplays. I give detailed notes. I give suggestions. You go to my website to find out client testimonials. It's a great way for me to interact and give back to screenwriters. Also, there'll be information about my archived webinar, which, Mario, ciao! My archived webinar, which you can stream. It's called a Screenwriter's Checklist. It'll help you if you've lost focus on your goals, it'll help you put that back into focus. And also my new free app from Yap, Screenwriting Guru, because Yap has an app that you download, not from the App Store, from Yap, and I offer script tips from my upcoming book, and the fingers are crossed that the book will be out next month, called The Screenwriter's Journey to Success, Tips, Tricks, and Tactics to Help You Survive as a Working Screenwriter in Hollywood. The book will be out next month. Very excited. Like I joke, it's 20 years in the making, 20 years in the living, and 4 years in the writing. And this bad boy will be out next month, God willing. At the end of October, early November on Amazon. I'll be tweeting and periscoping about that more. So, as I always say, keep the faith and keep screenwriting. Because, if you stop, you're guaranteed never to have any chance at success. And my friends, this is a business where there are no guarantees. So you must keep the faith. Keep creating multiple projects out into the marketplace at all times. One script will not do it. And have humility on your journey. And keep becoming a better screenwriter. Learn. After 28 screenplays, I'm still learning. It's a humbling process. And when you start getting paid, it's a whole different ballgame when you start working with professionals. And this is where we all want to be, right? To have a movie premiere, wherever. Have people to see our work. So take care. Have a good weekend. And I will see you again live on Periscope. Loving me the script scopes. I'm going to call them script scopes now. Script cats, script scopes. All right, take care. Have a good weekend. And we'll see you again soon.